Hello everyone, welcome to the session. Today we will be dealing about our next topic, that is lac operon, and this is our first part. Before knowing about the lac operon, we have to know what exactly is operon. An operon is a unit of bacterial gene expression and regulation. That means a operon is used for the expression of some of the genes and regulation in case of a bacteria, which will help in the regulation of the metabolic pathways. And it includes the structural genes, promoter and kiss acting regulatory sequence, which will help in the metabolic activities. All the structural genes in an operon are expressed as a single unit, and it will have a single promoter which will help for coding the structural genes, and the structural genes can be more than one. Now, in our first point, it has been written that operon can be negative or positive by induction or repression. That means the operon can be negatively controlled as well as positively controlled by the process of induction or repression. We have to know about the term induction and repression. Induction means something is inducing, it is forcing to do some work, and it is done in case of positive regulation. And repression means it is repressing, that means it is not it is stopping the work to be done. It is it is acting as a barrier for a process to be done, and it is known as negative regulation. Now, the next point is negative control involves the binding of repressor to the operator to prevent transcription, which we have discussed in the first point. Here, the negative control involves the binding of repressor. That means a repressor is present which will come and bind to the operator region. And when this repressor will come and bind to the operator region, then further transcription will not take place, due to which there will be no formation of mRNA, for which some of the proteins will be not produced, which help for the regulation of the bacteria. Now, next point is the lac operon is a negatively controlled inducible operon, where the inducer molecule is allolactose. What happens in case of lac operon? There is a allolactose which will come and bind to the repressor protein, which will not allow it to bind to the operator region. What happens when a repressor protein is present? It will come and bind to the operator region, which will not help in the transcription process to take place. When the allolactose will come, it will bind to the repressor region, which will not help for it to be placed in case of a operator, due to which there will be transcription process taken place, by which mRNA will form and the proteins will be produced, which is responsible for the metabolic pathway of the bacteria. Now, in our next slide, we will be dealing about the introduction part. In the first point, we are having that operon is operating unit. That means it is a operating unit. It will operate whatever the process will take place, which can be defined as a cluster of genes located together on a chromosome and transcribed together. What happens in case of a operon? The genes which are present, they are present in a cluster. That means more than one genes are present, and they are transcribed together whenever they are transcribed. Now, next point is the operon are present in prokaryotes like bacteria and archaea, and they are absent in eukaryotes. And it is a group of closely linked structured genes and associate control genes which regulate the metabolic activity. That means operons are having some of the structural genes which are responsible, which control the metabolic activity of a bacteria. Now, the next point is all the genes of a operon are coordinately controlled. That means they are having a coordination when they are controlled. The genes which are responsible for the metabolic pathway, they are coordinately controlled by a mechanism. And it was first described by Francois Jacob and Jacques Monod in 1961. Now, we will be dealing in our next slide that the lactose operon is designated as lac operon. In the short form, lactose operon is also called as lac operon. And this lac operon is having some of the enzymes which is helping in the catabolism of lactose. Now the word catabolism means degradation. It will help in the degradation of lactose. Why it is necessary? Because lactose is not the simplest form. It is made up of a disaccharide which is made up of glucose and galactose. So for the utilization of lactose, first of all it needs to be broken down into glucose and galactose, and for this process, that means for the breaking down of glucose and galactose, the structural genes which are present in lac aperon, those proteins are responsible. And in the next point we will see that it is a inducible operon. Lac aperon is a inducible operon. That means it is inducing for the transcription to be taken place. Its expression only when lactose is present and glucose is present. Here it will be glucose is absent. Here it will be absent. When we don't have the glucose, then only this lac aperon will be the process will be taken place. That means the genes which are responsible for the broken down of lactose, they will be synthesized. Now the next point is two regulators turn the operon on and off in response to lactose and glucose level. What happens by the concentration of lactose or glucose level in case of bacteria, the lac aperon or the operons will be turned on and turned off. When it is necessary, it will be turned on. When it is not necessary, it will be turned off. Now the next point is the lac repressor and catabolic activator protein. Here it is a catabolic activator protein, that means CAP. This will be these two. The lac repressor and catabolic activator protein will be responsible for turning on and turning off the regulators. Now in our next slide we will dealing with some other points. This is lactose is an excellent meal for bacterial. Bacteria only utilize lactose when other sugar like glucose are unavailable. No doubt, here in the first point it has been written that lactose is excellent meal for bacteria, but it is excellent only in certain cases. When there is unavailability of glucose, when there will be absence of glucose, bacteria will utilize the lactose by breaking down. Why it is so? Because lactose is made up of glucose and galactose. So for breaking down of lactose, there will be energy needed. So all the time what happens, we will see that how less energy will be utilized. So when there is glucose available, there we don't need any energy for utilizing the glucose. But when lactose is present, we have to use some ATP or some energy for the breaking down of lactose into glucose and galactose. And in the next point, the lac aperon is an operon, a group of genes with a single promoter. That means the lac aperon, which is a operon, it is having a single promoter and is controlling more than one genes. So it is known as polycistronic. When one promoter will control one gene, it is known as monocistronic. As it is having more than one genes, it is known as polycistronic. Now in the next point we will see that the genes in the operon encode protein that allow the bacteria to use lactose as an energy source. What happens when there is glucose? The bacteria will utilize the glucose. But what is the case when lactose is present? When lactose is present, it needs some proteins which will be degrading the lactose into glucose and galactose. So the operons which is having the genes, which they are responsible for the breaking down of lactose. Now see, in this picture we will be seeing about all these structural genes. Now here it is a DNA and this is a promoter for regulatory genes. What is a regulatory genes? Regulatory genes means the repressor which is produced. This is the LAC-I, which is the repressor. Regulatory gene code for repressor protein, and for this repressor protein for synthesizing, this is the promoter. Next comes promoter for structural genes. Here we are having some of the structural genes like LAC-Z, LAC-Y and LAC-A. And this LAC-Z is a structural genes which would code for beta galactosidase. and LAC-Y will code for the structural genes for beta-galactosidase permease. That means now the next is LAC-A. This is a structural genes for beta-galactosidase transacetylase. We have to remember the function of LAC-Z, LAC-Y and LAC-A. And this is a promoter for the structural genes. What happens in case of a promoter? RNA will come and bind. And this is a operator where the repressor will come and bind, by which when the repressor is synthesized and it will come and bind to the operator region, and this RNA will not be able to cross the operator and synthesize the genes. They are the LAC-Z, LAC-Y and LAC-A. In the next slide we will see this is a regulatory genes and this is a LAC aperon. And here what happens, the LAC-I mRNA is produced, which is a repressor which will code for a repressor protein. Here repressor protein is synthesized. And here are the structural genes. They are the LAC-Z, LAC-Y and LAC-A. What happens first? They will code for mRNA. They will produce a mRNA. From the mRNA, they will form the protein. They are the galactosidase, permease and transacetylase. Now in the next slide, we will see what makes the LAC aperon turn on. During which part or during which phase the LAC aperon will be turned on. In the first point, we will see that E. coli can break down lactose, but it is not their favorite fuel. What happens when lactose is present in the solution or in bacteria? What it does, it will break down the lactose for its utilization, but it is not its favorite food. When it will utilize, when the glucose will not be available, during that time bacteria will utilize the lactose. Now then, third point is glucose require fewer steps and less energy to break down the lactose. However, if lactose is the only sugar available, the E. coli will go right ahead and use it as an energy source, which we have discussed. To use lactose, the bacteria must express the LAC aperon genes, which encode the key enzyme for lactose uptake and metabolism. To be efficient as much as possible, E. coli should express the LAC aperon only in two conditions are met. First one is the lactose is available and second point is the glucose is not available. What this point tells us that when the bacteria is utilizing the lactose, what happens? The LAC aperon should be expressed. Why the LAC aperon should be expressed? Because it is having the structural genes which are responsible for the breaking down of lactose. When the LAC aperon will be activated or when there will be use of LAC aperon, the genes which are responsible for the breakdown of lactose will be producing the proteins which will help the lactose to be broken down into glucose and galactose, which will be utilized by the bacteria. And when this LAC aperon will be turned on, it will be turned on when there is availability of lactose and there will be unavailability of glucose. Now we will see the next slide. In the first point, it is written that if there is a variation of labels of glucose and lactose, it also affects the LAC aperon transcription. Exactly. With the variation of glucose and lactose, it will decide whether the LAC aperon will be transcribed or not. For this process to take place, two regulatory proteins are involved. They are, the first point is the LAC repressor that act as lactose sensor. What this LAC repressor does is it will sense the lactose is present or not. The next point is the other catabolite activator protein, which is known as CAP, that act as glucose sensor. What the LAC repressor does? It does the lactose, it will sense the lactose, and CAP will sense the glucose. Now, these proteins binds to DNA of the LAC aperon and lack its transcription based on glucose and lactose level. These two proteins which will be synthesized, they will be binding to the DNA and they will decide whether transcription will be done or it will not be done. Now, next last point is CAP act as a glucose sensor And when this cap will be activated, it will be activated when the glucose concentration is low. Now in the next video we will be dealing about the other points.